आप सबको नमस्कार। आज का जो विषय है अ जर्नी ऑफ लर्निंग, इसमें मैंने जो जिंदगी में जो सीखने की यात्रा रही है उसमें से कुछ शेयर किया है। इसमें दो मेरे अ, ऐसी पर्सनल घटनाएं भी हैं, उनको भी शेयर किया है। तो मैंने आज क्या किया, मैंने इसको लिख लिया था और अब मैं सामने इसको स्क्रीन पे पढ़ रहा हूँ। एंड आफ्टरवर्ड्स आई वुड लाइक you also to share your own journey of learning. I would be eager to listen to that. So आज कुछ बात सीखने की यात्रा के बारे में। इस यात्रा में बहुत कुछ अनसीखा भी करना होता है। कृष्णमूर्ति बताते हैं कि सीखना दो प्रकार का होता है। एक वो जिसमें हम जो जो सीख रहे हैं उसका संचय करते जा रहे हैं, इकट्ठा कर रहे हैं उसको। इस सीखने से तो हम सभी परिचित हैं। दूसरी प्रकार के सीखने में संचय नहीं होता, एक्यूमुलेशन नहीं होता। इसमें हर बार नए सिरे से सीखना होता है और सीखने के ये दोनों प्रकार साथ साथ चलते हैं। पहला प्रकार तो भाषा, गणित, विज्ञान, अर्थशास्त्र तमाम विषयों से जुड़ा है। इसमें समय की, प्रयास की, एकाग्रता की जरूरत होती है। इसमें कौशल, स्किल्स सीखना भी शामिल है, जैसे कार चलाना, क्रिकेट या शतरंज खेलना, सितार या वायलिन बजाना। दूसरी तरह का सीखना सेल्फ नॉलेज, स्वयं को जानना है। इसे संचित नहीं किया जा सकता, एक्यूमुलेट नहीं कर सकते, हर बार नया होता है। इसमें सजगता, अवधान यानी अटेंशन, ध्यान देना भी शामिल है। सुनने की कला, देखने की कला और सीखने की कला, कृष्ण जी ने इनका महत्व हमें बताया है। अगर मैं ध्यान से सुनता या देखता हूं तो सुनने या देखने के साथ विचार चलते रहने की कोई गुंजाइश नहीं होती। विचार खुद ही रुक जाते हैं फॉर द टाइम बीइंग, उनको रोकना नहीं पड़ता। सुन भी रहा हूं और सोच भी रहा हूं तो पूरी तरह से सुनना नहीं हो रहा है। किसी फूल को या किसी चेहरे को देख रहा हूं और शब्द बीच में आ रहे हैं तो देखना कहाँ हो रहा है। ये सुनना, ये देखना, ये ध्यान देना, बाहर के जगत पर और भीतर के जगत पर, ये ऐसा कौशल नहीं है कि एक बार सीख लिया तो हो गया। आधा अधूरा सुनने देखने की इतनी पुरानी आदत है, उसे बार बार अनसीखा करना पड़ता है, अनलर्न करना पड़ता है। कृष्ण जी कहते हैं कि शिक्षक भी आप हैं और विद्यार्थी भी आप हैं, और पूरा जीवन सीखने का एक प्रवाह है। अब मैं दो घटनाएं आपके साथ साझा करना चाहूंगा अपने निजी जीवन से। 2001 के आसपास मैंने विपස්සना का 10 दिन का शिविर किया था। 5 दिन बाद शाम को अधिष्ठान की सिटिंग्स होने लगती हैं, जिनमें एक ही आसन में पूरे घंटे 1.5 घंटे बैठना होता है। तीसरी शाम मेरे घुटनों में बहुत दर्द होने लगा, पर मैंने तय किया कि दर्द होता रहे लेकिन मैं आसन नहीं बदलूंगा। दर्द तीखा होता गया, पर फिर अचानक एक विचित्र बात हुई। घुटनों में दर्द तो था, लेकिन अब वह मीठा था, अच्छा लग रहा था। दर्द भी मीठा हो सकता है, ऐसा अनुभव मुझे उसके बाद कभी नहीं हुआ। फिर दूसरी घटना, 2010 की सर्दियों में मैं बाइपोलर डिसऑर्डर से ग्रस्त होने के चलते अपने मित्रों डॉक्टर आशीष शुक्ला और डॉक्टर रिम्पी शुक्ला के अपार्टमेंट में रह रहा था, चेन्नई में। 11 महीनों से मेरी हालत खराब थी, मैं कुछ भी ढंग से नहीं कर पा रहा था, यहां तक कि अवेयर रहना भी असंभव था। उस समय दिल्ली से विजय छावड़ा जी ने ऑन रिलेशनशिप पुस्तक का हिंदी अनुवाद एडिट करने के लिए ईमेल से भेजा। उन्हें मेरी हालत मालूम थी कि मैं इतना बारीक काम तो कर ही नहीं सकूंगा उस हालत में, फिर भी उन्हें न जाने क्या प्रेरणा हुई। तो मैं लैपटॉप खोलकर बैठा, सोचा कोशिश करने में क्या हर्ज है। शुरू किया, एक पंक्ति देखी, लाइन देखी, लगा इसमें बदलने की जरूरत है। पर मानसिक रूप से और शारीरिक रूप से भी बहुत तकलीफ से गुजरना पड़ रहा था, लेकिन मैं एडिट कर पा रहा था। तो मुझे जैसे घने अंधेरे में आशा की एक किरण दिखाई दी कि कुछ तो ऐसा है जो मैं कर पा रहा हूं। मैंने सोचा तकलीफ से गुजरते हुए भी मैं एडिटिंग करूंगा। तो करीब एक सप्ताह मैं उस मनोदैहिक साइकोसोमैटिक दर्द से गुजरा, रोज 2 या 3 घंटे, लेकिन एडिटिंग यथासंभव जितनी हो सकती थी मैं कर पाया। उस दौरान मुझे यह भी लगा किसी किसी स्थल पर कि कृष्णमूर्ति का वह टेक्स्ट मुझे ही संबोधित कर रहा हो जैसे। तो ये हफ्ते भर चला और फिर 8 दिन बाद जब मैं सुबह उठा तो मैं एकदम स्वस्थ महसूस कर रहा था। मैंने अपने मित्रों से कहा मैं जरा बाहर सैर करके आता हूँ। कई महीनों बाद मैंने मकान से बाहर का आसमान देखा, क्योंकि उससे पहले तो मुझे इतने महीनों तक बाहर निकलते हुए डर लग रहा था कमरे से। और सीखने को मुझे ये मिला कि जब हम दर्द से, बेचैनी से, व्यथा से भागते नहीं हैं, तभी हम उसके असली स्वरूप को देख पाते हैं, जो उससे काफी अलग होता है जिसकी हम कल्पना कर रहे होते हैं। यही बात अकेलेपन के संदर्भ में भी सच है। लेकिन समय बीतने के साथ मैंने पाया कि जो क्राइसिस के क्षणों में सीखा जाता है वह बाद में बिसरा दिया जाता है। फिर पुरानी आदतें लौट आती हैं, अपने आप से भागना शुरू हो जाता है। पर आदतों के उस जाल को, उन पलायनों को देखा जा सकता है जो है, उसके साथ जी पाना और जो होना चाहिए उसके बहाव को नोटिस कर पाना, ये रोज नए सिरे से सीखना होता है। आज की बैठक में आप भी अपने सीखने की यात्रा के बारे में बताएं, ऐसा निवेदन है। अंत में मैं कृष्ण जी के कुछ कथन सुनाना चाहूंगा। टू अनकवर इज टू डिस्कवर, बट टू एक्यूमुलेट व्हाट यू डिस्कवर इज टू सीज टू डिस्कवर। पर्दा हटा के देख पाना खोज लेना है, लेकिन जो आपने खोजा है उसे संचित करना, खोज के सिलसिले को बंद कर देना। हैव यू एवर लिसन टू द नॉइस ऑफ ए क्रो? Actually listen to it without shutting it out as ugly. If you are capable of so listening, there is no division between the noise and what is being said by the speaker. Attention implies a clarity of altogether-ness in which there is no exclusion. क्या आपने किसी कौवे की आवाज को सुना है? असल में बिना उसे खराब कहकर अनसुना किए। अगर आप इस तरह से सुनते हैं तो उस आवाज और इस समय जो कहा जा रहा है, इनके बीच कोई विभाजन नहीं रहता। अवधान, अटेंशन में शामिल है सब कुछ एक साथ होने की स्पष्टता, जिसमें कुछ भी बाहर नहीं किया जा रहा होता। और लास्ट एक्सेप्ट है, कैन द माइंड विदाउट ए मोटिव लेट गो? दैट इज रियल रिनंसिएशन। कीप द माइंड क्लीन, अलर्ट, वॉचफुल, ऑब्जर्व एवरी थॉट, see its significance without motive, urge, or compulsion. Then there comes an energy that is not your own, which descends upon you. There is a limitless being, and in that energy is reality. क्या ये मन बिना किसी उद्देश्य के कुछ छोड़ सकता है? वही वास्तविक त्याग है। मन को स्वच्छ निर्मल रखिए, सतर्क, देखते रहिए, हर विचार का अवलोकन कीजिए, उसकी सार्थकता, उसके मायने को देखिए, समझिए, बिना किसी उद्देश्य, लालसा या बाध्यता के तब एक ऐसी ऊर्जा का आगमन होता है जो आपकी खुद की नहीं है, जो आप पर उतरती है। एक सीमा रहित अस्तित्व है, ऐसा वजूद जिसकी कोई हद नहीं है, और उस ऊर्जा में वास्तविकता, यथार्थ मौजूद है। ये एक्सर्प्ट मैंने, जो पुपुल जयकर जी ने बायोग्राफी लिखी है कृष्णमूर्ति जी की, उस किताब में से ये एक्सर्प्ट मैंने लिए हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू शक्ति जी।
वेलकम।
You have very beautifully given illustrations to learning about things and learning about the self, and importance and unimportance of accumulation. So let us all participants, if they want to share after Harshad sir. Harshad sir, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Shakti ji. This topic of learning is a very vast topic, and our life is learning from very young age. A child learns so many things without effort. Like young children, they learn language, many language they can learn. But when we become old, then it becomes very difficult to learn. But children, they learn. And I was also, when I was young, I was not so much interested in learning in the school, and I used to sit on the last bench. It was in sixth standard, and my mind was not in the class. And generally, students who are not interested in learning, they sit on the last bench. And there was one big boy next to me, and he was bothering me, pinching me, and I was afraid to tell the teacher. But one day the teacher noticed that this boy was bothering me. So the teacher said, "Why don't you come and sit on the first bench?" So I started from then onwards. I started sitting on the first bench in the classroom, and then I was very attentive, and the teacher was very affectionate and very caring. So a right environment is necessary for learning. If there is a lot of noise, lot of disturbance, then we will not have proper attention. But when we all that is taken away, all the disturbance, and the mind is free to learn, then learning becomes enjoyment. And so I started paying attention in the class, and I became the best student in the class at the end of the year in the sixth standard. And when I came to seventh standard, after 6 months, I was promoted to eighth standard, and after another 6 months, promoted to ninth standard. So I did seventh and eighth standard in 1 year, and that is because one teacher, he noticed something, and because of that teacher's uh, care and affection, some four of us boys, we learn a lot from the teacher. And so to learn anything, we need a right environment, and the mind must be very, very attentive, and then learning becomes effortless. So this is learning about various subjects, because I was a student and later on I became a teacher also. And when I observed that the students, they don't have my student in Rishi Valley and other Krishnamurti schools, many of them, they don't have the right environment when they are studying. there is a lot of pressure on them, and they want to achieve something, and they try to force themselves to study something because there is a test coming up or examination coming up, and they don't sit properly, and they like to play, but then they have to force themselves to study. So that is not a proper way of learning. To learn anything, we must be free. We need proper discipline. Like the word student, there's another word is called disciple, is a student, and disciple is related to discipline. So a person who doesn't have the right environment, the right discipline, right freedom, then it becomes, learning becomes a very, very painful and very deteriorating. And so if we have not learned in the right way, then life will become a burden. And then this learning about subject is one thing, about history or physics is one thing, and learning about our inner world, which is most important. And for that also, to learn about our inner world, we cannot learn if our mind is distracted and many, many problems are bothering us. So I was in that state when I went to America, and I had many, many problems. Financial problem, academic problem, food, environment, culture, health, all this problem. And so I was not able to pay attention to my problem like fear or getting disturbed. But only when I came to a book of Krishnamurti, and he was saying something about our inner world, and he said that all human beings go through problems, whether you are American or Indian or Chinese, our mind works in a very similar way. And when I read that, then I felt that, oh, I'm not the only one who is having many problems. Krishnamurti said that humanity has suffered for many, many problems throughout age, throughout years. So Krishnamurti pointed out that the source of our problems, psychological problems, it comes from thinking. And from thinking comes this sense of I or me. And then we say, I have a problem. So, what is that I? That is very interesting. And people have been asking, religious people, spiritual people, who am I? But Krishnamurti said that what we call I or me is a product of thinking. And then this I wants to change thought. And we say, I like it, I don't like it. So there is a duality starts between what I am and what I like to be, what is and what should be. And so this was something very new to me. And so I wanted to really find the truth of what is this I. So I used to sit very, very quietly in my office in America, and I wanted to pick up the beginning of a thought, because Krishnaji said that our problems are coming from thinking. So, with all my attention, energy, curiosity, honesty, I wanted to see the beginning of a thought. And in that state, the mind really stopped, and then there was nothing. And that nothing was something very strange, very beautiful. So I found that there is something within us which is not thinking and feeling, and that what is called awareness or intelligence. And so my learning started when I started experimenting with what Krishnamurti was saying by going very deep within myself, not accumulating the knowledge which Krishnamurti was giving, but really experimenting it in the daily life when somebody said something and I became upset. So I was curious to know why I became upset, what is behind it. And then Krishnaji said that we become upset because we have some images about us. So then I begin to observe these images which are creating problems in relationship. So there is an infinite learning in our life, and it has no end. Even after we have finished reading all Krishnamurti and we are looking without effort at our own thinking, and most of our problem go away, and we really enjoy looking, listening to music, looking at the beauty of nature, about human emotions and thoughts, faces. So much variety exists around us in the outside world, and there is a lot of things exist in the inner world. So it's infinite journey. And even I think Krishnaji, in spite of talking for many, many years, he was learning. And at the age of 84, he went through some experience when he said it was the ground touching the source of all energy. So extraordinary um, journey is possible for human beings who don't become very old and tired with life. So we need a right environment, like Krishnaji says, freedom is at the beginning. How we do anything, how we speak, how we walk, how we eat, how we listen, not listen to only Krishnamurti, but listening to the servant or listening to the family members with a proper attention. And in that, life becomes kind of effortless learning, and it's an infinite learning. So, okay, I have said enough thing right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshad sir.
Thank you.
1 minute. Dr. Kulkarni, please unmute yourself.
He is not able to unmute.
Dr. Kulkarni.
Yes. Now,
Dr. Kulkarni, please.
thank you. Yeah. Now, previously it was not. Thank you.
I have changed the setting so anybody can mute himself, and after raising hand he can unmute himself and then he can talk.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Okay.
Yeah. So, coming to the learning, what I learned different from the usual learning is Usually from beginning of life, we learn about the subjects. Like I learned about the languages, math, science, social, like that. So we call that subject. But here, what Krishnamurti ji is saying is the inner learning means real the subject. Now, what we are calling subject is an objective learning. How it is different from this subject learning, that is outer subject learning, nothing but objective learning, and what is me and mine. This is the real subjective learning. So this real subjective learning is unrelated to the objective learning. A very interesting thing I found. Like now, taking to the objective learning, this is my name, I am Amarnath, I am male, or I am so and so age, I am related to this family, Hindu, or something. So, all we learn, including the daily activities like going to bathroom, brushing, or dressing, undressing. And in adolescent age, we learn about the what is sex, what about the feelings, emotions, and from 5 to 6 years, we start learning. So when I saw my photos in my mama's marriage, so all photos I was looking at my watch. I surprised why I am looking like this. On the marriage occasion, I was on the horse. So I was looking at my watch again and again. Means I wanted to highlight myself that I got the watch. Please see. So getting attached to one object, just like I am attached to the watch. So attached to this body, attached to my memory, attached to my knowledge and experiences. This is one thing. Similarly, I had a kidney stone attack. So kidney stone pain is considered to be more than the labor pain. Labor pain means delivery pain. So in that also, I went to the hospital by myself and I got admitted and I got operation as well. Alone. Afterwards, everyone came from the family. So as Shakti Kumarji has opened the Pandora's box, that means looking inside, that is the real subjective learning. In that, what I learned newly from Krishnamurti ji is discarding the old past habits and thinking, way of thinking. So most of the times we are mechanical, dull, and artificial. Means same thing is repeating, same thing is repeating. World is same. Whenever I am meeting anyone, I feel the only past images are coming and intervening. So this I was able to see. So now that is changed. Similarly, so one I have learned as answer to the two types of learning. First he said Shakti Kumarji was accumulating. So here I learned is the discarding the accumulation and imbibing or absorbing into the life. And that also should be instantly. It's very difficult task. For example, now I am able to eat food for half an hour. So I heard that Krishnamurti used to eat even for 1 to 2 hours. Similarly, he said, not even one time you have talked with your wife or seen her completely. So I started applying it. I found very difficult in the beginning. But once we start learning and more than that, discarding the past, it's the most difficult thing in the world because mind it's ready made and very easy whatever comes old and past readily available. That's called real looking, as Harshadji was saying. Similarly, one more incident happened, like similar to the Harshadji was uh, around in the sixth standard, started going for 100 meters running. So I started getting the prize in 100 meters. Then I started in 200 meters, 400 meters. When I was in MBBS, I had a gold medal in 5 kilometers and also football. So somewhere it started clicking. So I can run, I can be a good sportsman. It started clicking. So recently I learned from Kranti Risa, his name is. So it was the same quote which I heard from Krishnaji, but no one could satisfy me except him. That was this. So he works only 20 hours per month. He earns full earning of 1 month, and he rest of the times he looks at himself and started learning the newer things. So the quote by Krishnaji he tells is, I will not work a single day 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the job. So I was thinking why he has said like this, why he has said like this. Then I understood. So the same thing we go on repeating, the mechanical dull mind. I am a teacher myself. So most of the times we start accumulating the ideas from the old past and newer. It is stored as memory, words, and images. The same thing are coming in between when I am conserving. Even when I am sitting for meditation, the accumulated things are coming. So I'm able to see that. Similarly, since last few years, I am started observing my breath. The moment I am observing the breath, the number of thoughts and number of breath count decrease to only 5 to 6 per minute or maximum up to 10 per minute. Otherwise, it's around 12 to 16. So the major changes happen while talking to others. I'm able to see how I am cheating, how I am behaving differently. Usually, mind always sees mistakes of others. So, for anything, for any mistake, all mistakes are hidden within us. For example, today's just example, I forgot to take out my earphones from my the pocket, and it was put into washing machine. So it was my mistake that I should take out that earphones. But we'll call why my maid has not taken out like that. So we always hide this me and put the blame on others. So third thing which I have learned today, of course I have read, but more concentratedly from Shakti ji was saying is the difference between the concentration and attention. Though concentration is a pointed thing and self-centered thing. Krishnaji tells an example of putting a nail into a wall. So though you are aware of everything, but you are concentrating on just a nail, that's all. So that is the difference between concentration and awareness. You are aware of your inner feelings, you are aware of the sounds coming from the side, inside, everywhere. Similarly, when I am sleeping, I am aware of my dreams. Even I am aware of getting up myself, awakening in the morning. So the shifting of concentration to the awareness or the attention started. Similarly, if somebody is got the pain, I am able to feel that pain. The difference between their pain and my pain is not different. So if I am getting hurt, I am able to see, not naming as hurt, but what is the cause, what I am maintaining, what I have accumulated. it should be like this, it should not be like this. So how I am creating this, what is and what should be. So this, when I started learning this, it almost took me more than 3 to 4 years. But just now I am able to look deep into this. And similarly, around 6 years back, I went to Vrindavan. That time I prayed with Lord Krishna. As my mentor told, don't quote others. You should start telling about yourself, your own experiences. And don't mix with the other people's quotes or teaching. Then the miracle started happening. I talked to the Lord Krishna for an half an hour, face to face, and I expressed my sincere gratitude to you. I have become just like a tape recorder. Whatever others are taking, telling, same thing I am repeating, which I am not interested no more. Or I quote from others. I never involve myself into the deep inquiry. The major shift started happening, and I've started writing my own observations. So, though it may be similar to other teachers like Krishnamurti ji or Ramana Maharshi or Nisargadatta Maharaj, whatever is there, then since last few months, maybe 6 months, my understanding changed little different. That is this. The most of the times I am interested in the images and the words, what I am, which highlighted by Harshad ji just 5, 6 meetings back. You are in the words, you are not catching the meaning behind the word. So, whatever other people are telling, even a small kid, whatever she tells, I'm able to follow this. Means, if I am not accumulating the past me, then the learning is instant. First one. Second thing is discarding the past or the habit is happening. Third thing is new dimension is opening up. So without planning, maybe some plan may be needed in the physical life or mental life, but maximum open to all the ends, positive, negative, neutral, all the ends. When I'm going, the things started changing. So even now, I'm able to give my 25 to 50% of time for self learning, observation of myself, and participating in the discussions like this. In this also, a major shift happened when Chidaranji told, don't see with the people with likes and dislikes. The shift has happened. So then the learning started from everyone. Otherwise, I like this person, I will learn from him. I don't like this person, I will not learn from him. The self-centered activity. So these likes and dislikes started fading away. Similarly, just 3, 4 days back, I was listening to the Krishnaji. He was telling, don't divide good people, bad people. This superior, inferior. I am different, you are different. So this division, how we are dividing and expanding that division. So the pain happened to the Shakti ji, the pain happening to me is the same phenomena. But I call my pain his pain. Similarly, what he underwent, the bipolar disorder or any mental agony, it's a very common thing. So today I was reading Krishnaji's quote that was life is a battle. It's a continuous battle from birth to the death. I was just involved in the inquiry. One of the follower called me, sir, can you explain this? How is this? His question was this, sir, without doing battle, can I observe this? Then I answered, dear, I have called you back 10 days back about uh, asking about your inner journey. You are not ready. Now, after 10 days, you are calling. So, this way I am sleeping. I am not at all involved in my awareness and the very difficult challenge. What Krishnaji tells is every minute, every second is a challenge. It needs lot of energy and involvement. Most of the times, whatever I am learning, I am teaching others, I am not involving myself. Exactly opposite is happening. I am involving myself and learning from others also happening instantaneously, and life started changing. But it's a very difficult task, as told by both the previous speakers, Harshad ji and the Shakti Kumar ji. So the ending of the past, ending of the me. So though we cannot end the completely, moment to moment it will end, but the major shifts started happening, and now I am able to tell all this. Thank you.
Anybody else wants to say something? He can unmute himself. And Prasad sir.
Sir, namaste to everybody. Shakti Kumar's talk for me is like gold in a deep mine, because it was in Hindi, so I couldn't follow most of it. You have to dig very deep to take that, to get that gold. But I could sense that what you were saying is something wonderful. But except regretting my incapacity to follow the language, there's nothing else I can say or do about it. But on this topic, of learning, my understanding is very simple and straight. Learning is of two types. One is acquisitive learning, the other is non-acquisitive learning. Most of the time in our universities, colleges, etc., schools, etc., we have only acquisitive learning. Different subjects, we have to learn different subjects and all that. And actually, as a child, possibly you imitate others and learn. And in that process, possibly when you are really a very small child, there is no acquisition. You just imitate your parents, others, etc., and you learn, you pick up things. Imitation is one of the important modes of learning. And at that stage, when you are young, very young, there is no acquisition. But once you go into the school and you are put into formal education and all that, then the acquisition starts. And without acquisition has a place. Thinking is acquisitive, actually. And without that acquisition, you can't be an engineer or a scientist or a doctor like Dr. Amarnath and all that. So there is place for acquisition. But when this acquisition comes into human relationships, that is where it starts becoming a kind of, it becomes a barrier for, because when there is acquisition in human relationships, you start creating images. You have an image about XYZ. And when you meet XYZ, you don't see him. You don't see that XYZ. You see only your image about him. And not only images about others, you have images about yourself. That is another big problem. When you have an image about yourself, it leads to a lot of misery because somebody insults you and you feel very hurt and you carry that hurt and all that. So, if you have no image about yourself, you call me an idiot and I say, okay, maybe I am an idiot. That is about all. It doesn't matter for me that you have called me an idiot. When I have an image about myself that I am not an idiot, and when you call me an idiot, then Krishnaji calls it, somebody puts his boot into your image. So you get hurt. So that acquisition is creating that problem. And another thing is, when there is that acquisition in personal relationships, you can't really see because it is coming as a barrier. That acquisition is coming as a barrier. So when you are talking of personal relationships, Krishnaji says life is a relationship. Without relationship, there is no life. You don't exist without relationships. And the relationships are with not only humans, with animals, with the trees, with the nature, with ideas, different levels. So, and in terms of this personal relationships, then there should be no acquisition. There it is from moment to moment. You observe yourself and leave it at that and move to the next moment. So it is very acquisition continues throughout life. If I am a doctor, which I am not very unfortunately, I will keep on learning, and that is acquisition. I learn till I stop my practice. It continues. But at the same time, when I am dealing with my colleagues or my patients or all those things, then it is only from moment to moment. That is how I look at this topic. This is all I have picked up. And thank you, sir. Thank you.
Rajendran sir, please unmute yourself. Rajendran sir, please unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Kamlesh. Are you hearing my voice?
Yes.
Thank you, Shakti ji, Harshad Saab, and Social Kumar Jain sir. So I will take just a few minutes to tell my experience because Shakti ji wanted to share our journey, our learning with Krishna ji. Actually, my basic is Zen Buddhism. First, I went to Osho. Osho directed me to Krishna ji. I heard about Krishna ji, but I thought he was another Swamiji in white dress, so I was not interested. Then I went to Krishna ji, and with Krishna ji, my search ends. It stops.
Rajendran sir.
Ah,
Please speak louder, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay, 1 minute. Now it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So from Osho to Krishnaji. So once I come to Krishnaji, that's all over. My search ends. So I was not initially. I got I what to see. I was not into. I did not know Sanskrit. I did not study all the great the religious script of Hindu religious script. I did not study. I read a few pages of a few books, only not even complete Upanishad and Vivekananda and Paramhamsa Yogananda, but it not complete. So I read a lot about Zen Buddhism, and what Krishnaji says is totally agree with Zen Buddhism. That's why I am sticking on to Krishnaji. So whether Zen Buddhism or Krishnaji or Osho, that is a truth. They discovered it, Krishnaji discovered it. Truth can only be discovered, it cannot be invented. So my journey, so whatever I got something, even 1% or 2% of some insight into to learn myself, to that goes to Krishnaji. I am grateful, very grateful to Krishnaji. And recently, for 2-3 months, for a short period, some two years back, I was listening to Eckhart Tolle. He is a German and a Zen master. Only 2-3 months I went there and I was listening to him while I was in US. And he was talking about Krishnamurti very often. And in one session, he dedicated one session, I heard exclusively reading Krishnaji's notebook. So that helped me when I listened to Eckhart Tolle and he was referring Krishnamurti, and it was very striking for me that what he was telling is exactly what Krishnaji told. So at that time I realized for me Krishnaji is a textbook. Sometimes the textbook will be very difficult to follow us, just like in our college days and high school days. So we used to buy guide or notes for understanding it easily. So Eckhart Tolle is just a guide or notes to Krishnamurti. So like that, many people and like that he the listening to people like Eckhart Tolle, and another one, the Egyptian one author is there. His name is Mo Gaudat. So they help me to understand and Krishnamurti. I am not leaving away from Krishnamurti, but I am just sometimes these guides are also necessary. Some one incident happened. I already shared with Harshad Parekh Saab some last year. So I am not going to again repeat here with that. But I know it happened to me because of Krishnaji. And he told repeatedly, test it out. And he warned us very frequently out of reverence, and that Krishnaji is a great scholar and a great teacher. Out of our reverence, we should not put him on a pedestal and accept whatever he says as truth. Then it's of no use. It will be cheating ourselves, deceiving ourselves. That is what we did with all great ancient masters like our Hindu religion. So same thing, we should not do it with Krishnaji also. He alerted us only by testing what he says in our daily life only, we will be able to see the truth. Then the truth belongs to us. Then it is our truth, and we need not quote Krishnamurti thereafter. Why I am quoting Krishnamurti? we'll discuss here means I have not seen the truth of what he says. That's why I'm taking a defense. I'm showing, no, he only told like that. So that is not fair. So we have to see the truth in his says, what is saying in ourselves, in our applying it in daily life. For that there are certain, there is an experiment called a tiny experiment. So for example, what is, so tiny experiments we can follow in our daily life. That is what Krishnamurti told you, test it out. I am trying it. That is, I will space, that is action, for space, that is duration. I will blank action for blank duration. Though I will stay with what is for 2 weeks, for an hour daily or something, tiny experiments. Now I am doing it. I am staying with what is for an hour for 2 weeks and see the result. If I find that is, if I able to see the truth in that, and then I will that will become my daily routine or something. So the words, I learned many things. I learned a lot of, I cannot say learning. And the journey with Krishnaji is wonderful. It helps me a lot. I am now stuck in the tunnel of sorrow. So only with Krishnaji's teachings only, I am able to see some clips of light at the end of it. I am very grateful to Krishnamurti, and I am thankful to this Indore group also, and particularly Kamlesh and Sushil Kumar Jain and Harshad Parekh. Thank you.
Body Murthy sir. Please unmute yourself. YD Murthy. Please unmute.
Good evening to all. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. There are two types of learning. The first type we all know, in the schools, colleges, and universities, we learn a lot of subjects, and that learning happens through accumulation. We learn. Actually, the process is very simple. You have an experience. From experience, you gain knowledge. That knowledge is stored in the brain cells as a memory, and from that memory, you are acting. And that becomes an accumulative process. It becomes routine. It becomes mechanical. But that learning is also required in the physical and technological world in our day-to-day living. For example, if I want to learn how to drive a car, after learning it, if I forget it, and I have to learn again. So that memory is required, so that I will be able to do that activity without any difficulty, without any accident or things like that. Likewise, if I see a person 2 days back, I was introduced to him and his name is given, unless I have that knowledge in my brain cells, if I see him today, after 2 days, and I ask him, who are you? That also will be embarrassing. Every time I have to ask because I don't have the memory. So the memory and the knowledge are essential in the physical and the technological world. We call it the functional knowledge. Without functional knowledge, a man will be like a vegetable. He will not be able to do anything. We may not know his name also. That knowledge becomes accumulative. And another important thing is that learning is based on memory, that is based on past knowledge. So it is always coming from the past, and going forward, modifying itself. That is required in the physical and technological world, and all the progress that humanity has made is because of that memory and the knowledge that we have. But to understand things in the psychological world, that kind of knowledge is dangerous, because psychological world is one more thing, that knowledge in the physical world, it is very limited, and it is based on thought. Thought being limited, the memory is also limited, and the learning that you come out is also limited. It is never complete, and it is repetitive. Whereas to understand the psychological problems, you need to have a different kind of learning, which is non-accumulative, which is not based on the past, which is always in the present. Because the psychological world is a whole thing, it is not fragmented. And to understand that psychological world, you have to approach it with a complete action which is complete in itself. To have that, you need to have a learning which is non-accumulative. That is what I understood. And in our day-to-day living also, we have seen already a number of people have mentioned about these things, particularly in the human relationships, which is in the psychological world. If you have too much of knowledge, that creates problems. Like Mr. Prasad was mentioning, we form images. I form an image about myself, and I form an image about the other person. I form an image about my wife. And when we interact, the interaction is between two images, not between the human beings. That's why so many problems are coming in relationship. And that's the reason why you have to have a knowledge, you have to have a learning which is complete in itself, which is from moment to moment, and it continues throughout your life, and it is not accumulative, and it is also complete. That's all what I understood. Thank you very much.
Shakti.
Yes, sir. I would like to add one thing more. You know about images, when Prasadji was talking about images, it's reminded me. You know, we read Krishnamurti that images, whether it is of others or of oneself, the machinery of making that image, those images, is inattention. When there is no inattention, that image making is not happening. In other words, as he says, when there is attention, there is no center. The thing which perplexes me is this. You know, it becomes very clear that either there is attention or there is inattention, but noticing of inattention. Why, after reading Krishnamurti for so many years, the third state comes into being again and again, which is inattention and not noticing it. So I see that I have to learn that again and again. Otherwise, it seems so clear that if I really understood it, all my life will be either attentive or there is inattention. I am not shunning it, but there is a noticing of that inattention. So that is one thing which I wanted to share, because it seems that there is another entity in me who has not understood this, that fragmentation is there. Thank you.
Harshad sir. Harshad sir.
I worked in Krishnamurti schools, and there were people who were in charge of the school, the trustees, and the principals and directors. They all were deeply interested in Krishnamurti, and they would talk with students about Krishnamurti teachings. But I found that even among these people who were running the school, they had no relationship, real, without images. So it becomes very difficult when people are working together. It is easy to gather the knowledge of Krishnamurti about not forming images, but when people are working together in an organization, images are formed and they are not seen clearly, then it prevents relationship. And that was happening in almost all the schools where I taught. Sometimes I saw that people who had studied Krishnamurti teachings for many, many years, and when they saw each other on a road coming from opposite directions, they changed the direction because they did not want to see the person. And this is not my observation only, but many people have written books about their experiences with Krishnamurti and Krishnamurti schools. They have mentioned this problem of relationship in human beings, among students, between students and teachers, among teachers, among trustees. All this problem is very, very much there because we have really not looked clearly at this image forming mechanism, and we have not understood our own self, and that it affects relationship with other human beings, and that is the fundamental problem of relationship in human, because there is so much thinking is going on and which is not looked at very clearly, and one cannot make an effort to be free from the image, because that effort to be free will again make you more go deeper into the image making. So it is very easy to explain Krishnamurti's teachings, but to look at human beings and even trees, it may be easier to look at a tree or a flower without images, but to look at people with whom you are living, to look at them without images is very, very difficult, and very, very few people are really free from that. And that requires this awakening of intelligence or awareness, ongoing, effortless awareness. That is what Krishnamurti was talking about. And even Krishnaji also had conflict with people in the foundation, with the trustees. So only thing is that we can be aware of the problem, but there is no freedom. Freedom exists when there is no thinking, no psychological barrier. And there are moments when we can really feel great freedom, love, beauty, all that. But it may come and go. It's not something that one can, day after day, year after year, one can live with a clarity which is necessary. So I think we can go on with looking inward, and if whenever we have any problem, we have to, instead of blaming the other human being, if we have this habit, not habit, ability to look that am I contributing to that problem, then there is a possibility of not getting involved in creating problem for ourselves, because generally we create problem for ourselves because we are not aware of the image making process, thinking process. Okay, thank you.
Dinesh ji, please unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself.
Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, this is very interesting topic, and at the same time, it is controversial also. People will think as per the instrument, or people say that mind. Mind. Basically, one has to understand. Before that, I would like to say a story. A person has gone to Raman Maharshi that I want to learn from yourself. He said, you have come to a wrong place. Because I teach unlearning, not learning. So one has to understand whenever we talk any word, say learning, it has got polar opposite of unlearning. So one has to understand that this is a phenomena of polarity. And whenever you talk of polarity, one has to understand that this is uh, covered by your ego only. So, okay, JK has, in my view, JK talked about these things for a man who is trying to move ahead in the life towards spirituality. One has to understand that, first, one has to understand that what is learning. Other people have already said that it is not a memory process, or it is not a repository process, or this thing. But can mind work without any deposition or any keeping the things, and then you are using it or you can working on it? Can mind work like that? As with the instrument, a natural tendency to work like that. Otherwise, why mind can't work? It will become vegetable. So, what does Krishnamurti wants to say? Is he just giving us a word to go into it, or what? So one has to see it. One person, I am not right now remembering the name, whether it was Pupul Jaikar or anybody else. He said to JK, what is the exact meaning you talk about learning? JK said, say you have got subconscious mind, you have got conscious mind, and you with the subconscious mind you learn, or you have got a learning which you have kept in your memory. Now, say car driving, and then you are driving a car to your destination or to your to a place as per your planning by your conscious mind. And you are talking also with your friend and all that. And at a crossroad, all of a sudden, a vehicle comes and you see it and you stop your car somehow. So this is learning that at the crossroad one should stop the car or slow down the car. So whatever comes from unknown to known, and that is of use, is learning as per him. Now there are two aspects of it. One is from the world point of view, one is for your inner point of view. As I am using these two words because all of this is happening with the ego. Your ego has not, you have not dropped your ego, or ego has not gone. Or you may say that you are observing it in a choiceless, with choiceless awareness and all that. But it is, it's not so easy as other or some persons have said. Uh, Unfortunately, today I was more late, so I could not listen to the Shakti ji and Harshad Parekh. But my views are very clear on this, that learning is done from the world point of view. Unlearning is done, as Raman Maharshi said, from the inner world point of view, so that the ego becomes totally free. This one has to understand. People talk of many things that it should not be kept in memory and all that. We have already discussed that mind cannot work like that. Mind has to keep everything in the mind, this in memory, and then only it has to work. Otherwise, it cannot work. Whether it is, you may call it technical, or you may call it emotional, or you may call it psychological, whatever word you want to use. But mind cannot differentiate in that way and work. So whether thought is to be used or thought is not to be used, or whatever you say, but your mind has got its own tendencies, its own way of functioning, and it works like that only. Another thing, some people say that you just choicelessly become choiceless aware and see. It is very difficult. If you have tried yourself for your inner world, if you have tried for knowing yourself with choiceless awareness, knowing yourself, and then dropping it. Actually, in the inner world, our learning is more important. You have to drop the your all, or you discard JK's language, discard your all trash. But it is not so easy, because if you have to have energy and you have to observe it with silent mind and all that, whatever we have discussed earlier. And then if the energy is available to you, you can do it. Otherwise, you will take time. You can't instantly deposit this, discard anything, or just like be free from it. Your most of the people, what I observe, people in the Maharashtrian sense have said clearly, "Adya haldi kundat पिवळे." It means they are हल्दी जो लगाते हैं, or we put there is a process in the marriage. They put this haldi to the pupil, and if the person, the this thing, the your what we can say, that box of the in which the haldi has been kept, if it is not full or it is half, then the people will become half half with the haldi, and half they will remain as it is. So they are not gone. People do not go deep. They only take the name of this Descartes Tolle and Raman Maharshi. But they are having the names. They have got their understanding. Or can you like somebody? You are taking his name means you are liking him. And can you take his name without making any image? I'm sorry. If you like anybody, Osho, say for example, you have to, people like Osho and then forget Osho's total work. And a photo of this Osho's controversy full in the Osho literature. They forget. So in Gyaneshwar Maharaj has said, very clearly, first of all, Kadechina. People cannot understand the things, deep things, or the things behind the words. They cannot understand. Second thing is, Karla Tari Valechina. Valechina means they cannot mold themselves or they cannot do it. JK says do it. So they cannot do it. They cannot remain in choiceless awareness and see whether what is happening with me. JK has been repeatedly said that see the things and yourself and find the truth. They cannot do. So, Kadechina, Vadechina, or third thing is, because they can't digest. Third thing is Karechina. When JK says do it, check myself. Means indirectly he says, check myself whether I am right or wrong. People don't do it. But JK said means it's a commandment or something. So they can't cross-check the JK. Whether whatever has been happened with JK, is it happening with me? Or I am of some other character or other this thing. My nature is different and I require something else. So, last point is Ghadechil. In case of JK, it may be possible that something is instantaneous. Something can happen instantaneously. But whether that instantaneously is happening with me, I'm sorry. People will check, then they will find that in many cases they will require time. Now, where to bifurcate? Where to bifurcate about learning and unlearning? So this is very interesting that there is a polarity. Whenever you say such word, there is a polarity. And have you understood the polarity? Or you will use the same this thing, understanding everywhere, with the learning also and unlearning also. Very interesting. So one has to really go deep. Again, I will say that one has to really go deep, experiment with them, and then come out with the things which are correct. People I have found in this group also and at other places also, they said in some 10 years back, 20 years back, 30 years back, this has happened with me. So that is truth. All right? That was happened at that time. Now what is happening right now with you? I have gone to this Rishi Valley and this has happened. I have gone to this Ohio and this happened. I have gone to that place. This happened. I have seen the Osho, this JK and JK has written to me and this has happened. That has happened that time. What is the present moment? What is happening in the present moment? Is it continuous or there is something new happening with you? Thank you, sir. Any comment from any Shakti Kumar ji or Harshad sir?
I think the
Namaste,
time
sir.
is over now.
Only one small comment, sir.
Yeah.
I want to react to Shakti Kumar's comment. his remark, there are only two things. One is attention. The other is lack of attention and noticing that there is no attention. And he has raised the question why we are not able to realize that there is no attention, that there has been an absence of attention. We don't recognize it. It's very true. We don't recognize it. And for me, I think it is because we are too much into the worldly stuff. We are not really into understanding the, Krishnaji says the ultimate goal of life is to understand the immeasurable or whatever you call it. Your direction should be in that direction, the direction of the nameless. But for us, it is not there. We are, in spite of our association with the Krishnaji's teaching for 20 years, most of us are only into worldly stuff. More promotion, more power, more acquisition, these things. I think that is one of the reasons. Then, Parekh has made a wonderful revelation that the followers of Krishnaji or people who work in his schools, they don't see eye to eye and all that. And that is, I think, because we have not really understood what is being selfless. We don't realize that we are indulging in self-centered activity all the time. We don't realize it. We say you should be selfless and things like that. For us, they are slogans or coins, verbal coins. But we don't realize. When we realize, we don't have the courage to accept also, or frankness to accept. So, thank you, sir.
Can I say something here? Kamlesh, last word.
Dinesh, last word you can say. And one word from Harshad, sir. So we will have
No, I don't have anything to say.
So whatever I want to say, here also, attention is a very tricky word. As per JK, when there is no self, then there is attention. But is it possible with most of us? If it is not possible, then ego will be there, and as soon as ego is there, the attention becomes exclusiveness. Whatever you see or observe, it becomes the exclusive. It comes under the exclusive thing. So this is very interesting. We mold the things as per our understanding, and then we want to use it. It is very interesting, and we want to use it as a schoolboys or
don't use it.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Sir, then don't use it now. It is 7:37.
Okay. Let us not use it now.
Yeah.
let us leave it here. We will discuss next time. Thank you
Okay.
everybody for participation.
Thank you.
all.
Thank you. Thank you.